Good evening, everybody. I'm Bishop Randy Dean here with you for Sunday Night Sanctuary. Beautiful day here in western Wisconsin. It's one of those Chamber of Commerce days for Wisconsin. Absolutely spectacular. And all around me, the birds are having a field day of song. Up in the power lines, up at the road behind me, I can hear our lonesome dove. It's a song for my heart, that dove's call looking for her or his mate. So anyway, that's the setting I'm in, and I'm glad you came in to join with me. I love you all dearly. I truly do. You can see from my title tonight, it is Be Kind, Love More, Love Now. The biggest mistake we make in life is thinking we have all the time in the world. That's a lie. Be present. Be kind. Love more. Love now. What's within your reach? Who's in your line of sight? So for me right now, you are all in my line of sight, and it brings joy to my heart to come to you today for that purpose. So here at Sunday Night Sanctuary, we do two things as a means of connection and loving more. We do the Lord's Prayer at the beginning, which I invite you to join me in. If you don't know the Lord's Prayer, I think it's important to acknowledge there are many people who don't know the Lord's Prayer, and I'm okay you don't know. Let me pray on your behalf. All right? So come on in and let me pray on your behalf. If you don't know it, if you do know it, join me and we'll click along together. We'll start with the Lord's Prayer. And then at the end, in about 20 minutes, we're going to take communion together. This is vital. This is important. This is for the spiritual refugees that I adore and love, and why we're here, and why this fly has joined us too. At the end of our time together, have a cracker or some bread ready, and a drink of your choice, wine or juice. In about 20 minutes, I want to serve communion to you, because there are an awful lot of people who've been left in the shadows and in this feeling of, I don't know what to do about communion, and I love communion, or I used to love communion, or I've never had communion. And the questions are so outrageous, I think, on behalf of those who have imposed questions on it. Not that you have questions. I want to make sure I say that right. You can have those questions really all day long. I know I did for the longest time. For example, when I first came to faith, I didn't know if you were supposed to chew the bread. I thought that might be blasphemous. I thought that might be incorrect. I kept looking around for people who had some of the cracker or the bread in their hand. I looked for motion in their jaws. That was a question. I didn't know who do you ask? Who do you talk to? I didn't know. Nobody told me. And I want to make sure you know that I'm here to serve communion, even if it is online. I want you to know you're approved for communion. Are you breathing? Are you spiritually hungry? Are you interested? Are you curious? Let me serve communion and bless the Eucharist for you, because you are the reason Jesus broke that bread and gave his blood for that cup. So we'll do that in about 20 minutes. All right, back to the beginning and the Lord's Prayer. I pray with my eyes open. One of the reasons I do is I don't know but what that lonesome dove might land on the little fence post up in front of me and come join me in the prayer. I don't want to miss that. I don't want to be, all squinched up and squished up about prayer that I don't see the big, beautiful world around me. So I invite you to join me in that as I pray the Lord's Prayer. Here we go. This is what Jesus has taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So that prayer anchors me, secures me, holds me tight. I've said often, if you want to pray a prayer that's been prayed by millions of people for 2,000 years, if you don't know what to pray, here's a prayer. Our Father who art in heaven. Magnificent. It's simple. And yeah, it can become a repetitious thing. Just don't let it be a repetitious thing. Be mindful. Be kind. Love more. Love now. Love the prayer you're praying. And be kind to yourself in embracing that prayer. So this little phrase that I have up for you is it's a sign out for my No BS Bishop radio broadcast. We make this mistake that we think we have more time, and it's not true. We need to be present and to see things with kindness, to see things in love, and to see them now, not as we hope they'll get to be, not as maybe they were and we're disappointed what things were. How about learning, the invitation to learn to be absorbed and baptized in the now? And if the now is painful, let the love of God hold you tight. And if you're out there and you're in some kind of pain, hang on to me. I'll grab you by the hand, metaphorically speaking. But I'm hanging on to you. I'll serve communion for you. If you're in pain, I'll serve communion for you. Maybe your pain is some tragic mistake you've made. I'll serve you communion. Come on in. Come on in. Join the feast of life at the table of Jesus. But the idea of be kind, love more, love now, for me is it's an all-encompassing way of living. There's no moment separated from the possibility of kindness and love. There's no moment separated from the possibility of carrying that powerful royal law inside of you. James chapter 2 says, if you keep the royal law, which is to love your neighbor as yourself, he said you do well. I mean, and it's interesting in James 2. James is talking about you show partiality in your churches. A rich man comes in and you're like, oh, it's the rich man. He's dressed nice. He's got a big offering. It's the politician. Let's show him the best seat in the house. And James says, stop that. You're missing the point. He said, has not the Lord chosen the poor of this world? Has not the Lord chosen the poor of this world? Our eye is in our society right now is really trained for the wrong vision. It's trained for the wrong thing. And to be kind is to show sacrifice towards somebody who needs a sacrifice. Everybody you meet is needing some sacrificial attention. Everybody. A kind smile, a kind nod, a kind wave, even just simply the kindness of a heart to carry in the moment. Carry the moment with your heart being kind. And then love more. I'm routinely astonished that love is assumed as a principle that we all know, and I don't believe we do. I don't for me. I want to learn more. I want to move past the certainties of what I thought into the uncertainties of what I've dreamed. The uncertainties of what's in front of me that may be completely other than what I've been doing to what might be required of me to become, to love more and to love now. Okay, I'm gonna do better tomorrow. No, do better right now. Well, there's nobody around me to love. Well, then love life. Love life. I love that tree right behind me, this maple tree. We planted this maple tree almost 30 years ago. A friend of ours planted it on our behalf. That maple tree I love. I pray over that tree. I have prayed over that tree. I'm going to continue to pray over that tree. We had an arborist tell us, I don't know, 6-7 years ago that we should cut it down because it was in some kind of duress. And I said, no, not our maple, not our baby. And so it's still up here and it is under duress. We can see it, but we're praying over it. We're watching this tree. Point is, I drifted, sorry. Love now. I don't care if there's nobody around. Love. Put some excess reservoir of love up inside of you. Love around you. Love the point of reference that you're breathing in the moment. That means you can be grateful. You can show some. All right, I got a breath. I got an exhale. I got a heartbeat. I'm seeing through the miracle of my optical nerves. All of that. we can love right there, and love now. We don't have more time. The only time we have is the time that's right in front of us. And time, in fact, time is an artificial construct. Time is not something that is God's way of being. God lives outside of time. God lives above time. God lives in excess of time. There is no such thing as one of these on the wrist of God. God lives in the eternal now, which is past, present, and future. It is all there. So what God sees coming is what God has seen in the past, and what God sees is now. And all of that is the construct of eternity. God invites us to live above and beyond time. Now, I don't mean you should be sloppy about being on time. I don't mean you should be sloppy about treating people rudely by telling them you'll be there at 5:30 and you don't show up until 6:30. That's just rude, and it's being unkind. But time is that thing that invites us to love now and to be present in the now, to suck air and to exhale that same breath with a sense of the beauty of this eternal moment. This isn't on some kind of switch that goes on and off. Next 3 days is going to be a full blue moon, the blood full moon. It's going to be absolutely spectacular the next 3 days. I fully intend to take it in. I fully intend to enjoy it. I walk my dog at night. That my dog has learned that when I'm singing, she's supposed to go find her potty place. And I'm singing, "What a Wonderful World." She has learned to know how to be at peace with me while I'm singing. And while I'm singing, I'm looking in the sky. I see clouds of white and skies of blue and clouds of white. The bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night, something I meditate on almost every night in some form or another. So knowing that when we are critically moving our life forward in the context of being people of love, I wrote something the other day that I want to repeat for you. When we move ourselves in the context of love, is that love is the demand for truth beyond what's just my personal view of truth or the personal view of someone else's truth. Love cares more about what is right than who is right. My journey has taught me that I can love people who are evil and unkind. I can love people who are mean-spirited toward me. I may have to have a healthy boundary with them. I'm going to love you over here while you're over there, but I am going to love you. It's going to challenge my love. But what I'm after is not that you're wrong and I'm right, or I'm wrong and you're right. What I'm after is love. And love transcends that, kind of like I said about God and time. Time is an artificial construct. And who is right and who is wrong is really genuinely something of an artificial passion on our part. You know, when we're always looking for, I got to prove I'm right and you're wrong, or I got to prove that you're right and somehow I got to live in the shame of being wrong, that's an artificial construct. Love brings the composition of wholeness to us. Love more. And again, I understand you got to love some people over there and wave at them and say, "Hey, I see you over there. I'm going to be over here. Love ya." Right there. But I also understand that sometimes when I'm caring more about being right and proving you wrong, I may be missing a point. I may be missing something I need to learn. Love teaches me to learn even what I don't want to hear. And love teaches me to be as aware of somebody else's dysfunction as I am more so of myself, than looking at that person and saying, "Well, they're dysfunctional. I'm sure glad I'm not dysfunctional." What did Jesus say about that? He said, you got to be careful about that thing about, "I thank you, Lord, that I'm better than others." Let's be careful with that. Let's make sure that we understand it's very possible I'm the dysfunctional one and maybe they're functional. And it's also possible, equally, they're dysfunctional. And maybe, as the old saying goes, when people tell you who they are, believe them. So if I believe what they've told me and shown me who they are, I'm still going to love you over here with a recognition that I've got to change me, not be codependent to fix, manage, control, recruit you. I'm not going to live that life. I'm going to live a life of love, even if it requires a safe distance. Man, I kind of went around the world on that, but that's how love works. Love manages the need to win, and it manages when I've lost. Love manages, like I said, love cares more about what is right rather than who is right. My wife and I learned, we've been married 50 years, hanging in there for another 51. We learned a long time ago how to argue fair, how to fight fair verbally. To that end, what we've learned is when we have a heated discussion, I'm not after proving I'm right and you're wrong. I'm after what's the right thing between us. And guess what? Maybe between us, neither one of us know what's right. Neither one of us have the clue as truth. And yet, if we get fixated on I'm right, you're wrong, shut up, sit down, let's talk, which is dysfunctional. But if I love, and I love more, and I love now, well, now I'm capable of seeing where I'm wrong without this self-defensive mechanism. Or I'm capable of seeing where you're wrong. And I'm capable of kindness that says, it's going to take time to figure that out. And I'm going to grant you time to figure that out. I'm going to turn the corner rather abruptly here. I started my day today. It was a bang in my face. And yeah, you'll figure out why in a hurry, why my day started weird. My day started with this terrible political ad on my iPad. It was wretched. It was vulgar. It was violent. And it was a political ad. It was a political ad. I searched around it to make sure that somebody had reported it as the potential of violence or the potential of threat or bullying. Sure enough, somebody had reported it. And that set me on a course for the day to recognize, okay, there but by the grace of God go I. That's how love responds, even to an enemy. This person who posted this ridiculous political ad is a quote-unquote enemy. And Jesus told me to love that enemy. Well, wow. Right now, I just want that enemy in jail. Right now, I just want that enemy to have the authorities visit their house. And perhaps they did, and perhaps that was the very best thing for them in their point of life. And I'm going to take the word perhaps out of it in view of what the ad was. Yes, the right thing for that person would have been a visit from the local police. That being said, that person was at odds with me. I was at odds with them. And the immediate call on me was find love for that, for them. And that's hard. But that's the heavy lifting of love. Some people talk about love like it's just soft and squishy, unicorns and pixie dust. Love is the hardest way to live. Love is the most difficult choice in life to live. Love will connect you to as many people as it will disconnect you from. Love can push people away as much as draw them in. And you've got to learn to love right through that. And when Jesus said, love your enemy and to love your neighbor, that's an invitation to a very deeply well-lived life. So I hope that all made sense. Did it? My call to love is a call to the heavy lifting of managing myself before I seek to manage others. And while others, by the way, may need some more self-management or external management. Like I said, this political ad needed some external management from law enforcement. They did. And I can't wait to see what the result of that would be for them, because in the end of it, this is a hurting soul. This person that performed that kind of political ad, that's a wounded, broken human being. And to that end, they need the love of, whether they don't have the self-discipline of love, the discipline of external forces may bring them to a point of love they've never had before. All right. So to that end, let's go to the Lord's table. So anybody that says to me, that might want to say to me, oh, you're just always preaching love. It's so soft and unicorny and pixie dust and rainbows. I almost broke into the cereal commercial. I'm sorry, I drifted. when people suggest to me that love is this soft, simple thing, my thought, my internal dialogue is, when it came to love, and Jesus said, love one another as I have loved you. And greater love has no one than this, that they lay down their life. See, this is how love works. Love works through broken bread. Love works through the blood. And to that end, it's a reminder that love works through a table, a place of fellowship, a place to connect with each other. I like to call the bread and the cup Eucharist, because the Eucharist, the Eucharisteo, is a giving of thanks for a mystery. This is a mystery. I do not fully understand it, and yet I fully appreciate and love it. Love more. Love now. So, and I bring this to you today out of a sense that take some time, be present, smell the goodness. When I serve communion, whenever I have the chance, I make sure that the bread or the cracker I serve has some aroma or some texture, some chewability, so that it's hitting my taste buds, my smelling capacity, the crunch of a cracker, or just the soft chew of bread. That's supposed to mean something. I'm not a fan of the kind of wafers that it touches your tongue and it evaporates. I need more time than that. I want a little more time with the bread. So let me share with you the liturgy of the table. This is the table not of the church, but of the Lord. It is made ready for those who love him and for those who want to love him more. So come, you who have much faith and you who have little, you who have been here often and you who have not been here long, you who have tried to follow and you who have failed. Come, because it is the Lord who invites you. It is his will that those who want him should meet him here. So wanting him is as simple as, I'm hungry. Spiritually, physically, psychologically, emotionally, I'm hungry. I want to love more. I want to love now. I want to be kind. Jesus offers the most kind and profound expression of sacrificial love in all of history. On the night in which he was betrayed, he took the bread, he broke it, and he said, take, eat. This is my body broken for you. I like to say it the way he said it because he doesn't explain it. He doesn't explain, well, this is kind of like, and it's a symbol of, he does none of that modern way of looking at it. He goes into the existential beauty of a sacrament, and he says, this has to be experienced. Let's experience the taste, the smell, and the goodness of Jesus. And on the same night in which he was betrayed, he took a cup. And he said, this is a cup of my blood for a new covenant. What was that covenant? One law. One law. Love. James chapter 2 says the royal law. And another version calls it the king's command. The mandate of love your brother. Love your sister. Love your neighbor. Love your enemy. Even if you have to keep some safe distance, still find love in yourself for your enemy over there. Make sure your soul stays away from bitterness and retributive thinking, keeping your mind fixed in love. That's why this cup was offered. This is also a cup for the pleasure of the aroma. Slow communion down. Smell the goodness. The first time I took communion, you've heard me say this before if you've been here. First time I took communion in high school, I didn't know what we were doing. All I knew was I could smell grape juice coming down the aisle. I could smell Welch's grape juice coming at me. I can't explain what happened, but I fell in love. I smelled something tasty coming my way, and I burst into tears, and I've been crying ever since. It's so beautiful. Smell the goodness. Taste the goodness. Let the aroma overtake your human taste buds, your human need for absorbing what's given to you so freely. Thank you for the cup, Jesus. We bless this cup now in your sweet name. Amen. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm feeling that need to burst into tears again while the fruit of the vine is just cleansing my throat, falling down through me. That's good. That's a good moment right there. That's an experience of God. So come in, share. Anytime you come here, you can feel free to share this broadcast of Sunday Night Sanctuary. This is my church. I am the pastor of this wonderful congregation. Behold, the cathedral of this bishop. It is a beautiful, beautiful experience for me to see you all and to have you see me. To know that I've found a congregation much larger than anything I've ever pastored and I've pastored quite a few, and it's been a good experience. But this, I feel like, is my swan song for life, to gather with you here in this cathedral on my deck. I love you all. I do. I mean that. You say, well, you don't know me. I don't need to know who I love. I don't need to know your name. I would love to. I would enjoy it. But if I could never see you or meet you, I know I love you, because I've worked on the heavy lifting of love, managing my inner world. So, to that end, my wife Ginger, who is my chief administrator and love of my life, is she's on her computer typing in connections for helping support what we're doing here. I am working on a podcast. I know, promises, but it's a much larger project than I thought it would be. But it's also, in order to do it well and right, it's got to be done well and right, and that takes time. So thanks for your patience with me. Love is patient. So thanks for loving me. So to that end, I invite you to support us financially. PayPal, you can do that. There's no demand on it, just an appreciation on our part. It always makes our day when we see on our phone that little, you have money. What? It would be $1, and this guy right here would smile and say, wow, look at that. Somebody sent us some love, Ginger. So, all right, I got to go. Email me at randydeanministries@gmail.com. You can do that. Ginger's got that in there. No BS Bishop. Boy, if you can get a hold of today's broadcast, it's in the archive on WPCA. I'll put that link in there. If I might, don't mind saying so myself, I'm just going to break my arm, patting myself on the back. Today's broadcast was, I felt so happy with the result of it. So I'll make sure I can get that connection to you in the comments. I gotta go. I love you all. I wish you all peace. I do. If you are part of any of the political vitriol in our nation right now, pull yourself out of it. Get out of that vitriol. Leave the poison. I don't care which side. If it's poisonous, if it ain't love, it's wasting your life juices. Be done with it. Move on. Find love. Love more. Love now. And be kind. I love you. Now go out there and do something beautiful, y'all.